Hello, everyone, and welcome to the pre-summit for the Youth Empowerment Summit. This is the Martha Inspires Foundation, and today we want to give you some tidbits on what to expect at the main events on August 20th. The theme is connecting STEM and TVET education for economic development. This has been a big issue in our community, in our society, in our country at large. A lot of people do not even understand the importance of TVET. We think that people who are in TVET are people who are not intelligent, but there are really some people out there who are very intelligent, and it's helping them so much because they are using that wisdom, that knowledge to implement in the TVET agenda, and they are going higher and higher. I'll be speaking with two amazing women who have been in this sector for a long time, and they have come across a lot of young people who have in diverse ways inspired them with their potential, done so much for them to see that this is an agenda that we all have to promote. Youth Empowerment Summit, August 20th. The venue is at the Sanctuary of Wind and Fire Assemblies of God, opposite the King David Junction, 50 meters off the Camberley to Naili Road. This year, we are not doing any Ghana time. It's 8 a.m. sharp. Registration starts, and the main is by 8:30. We start with the other activities. So you have to plan your schedule accordingly so you can be there as early as possible. So I want to go straight into the discussion. We should have been live earlier on. We do apologize for the late start. Here with me is Hajia Alima Sajito. She is the Executive Director for the Savannah Women Integrated Development Agency, and also Madam Mariama Mahama. She is the Principal for the Dabupa Technical and Vocational Institute here in Tamale. It's a vocational and technical school, so she's the best person to really delve into this discussion with us. Thank you very much for joining me for the press summit for today. We want to go straight into the discussion. Let me start with Madam Mariama. You have a lot of students under your care who are in TVET. What can you say about the TVET agenda?
Thank you, Martha, and good afternoon, everyone. The TVET agenda is an interesting one, though not new, but it is taking a different dimension now. Historically, like you indicated in your introductory remarks, people did not give TVET the right attention. People assumed that people that pursued TVET were people that were not intellectually endowed. People assumed that TVET was dirty. People assumed that TVET was not an area to consider. But thankfully, now the trend is changing, even though a lot much more needs to be done to be able to place TVET as the first choice in the pursuit of our educational careers.
Hajia, TVET, STEM, young people's kind of education. How can we make it better than it is now?
Yeah, that's true. Good afternoon to our listeners, and then also to Master Inspires Foundation, the partners, as well as the founding fathers of the organization. And then audience, our studio audience as well, we say thank you. And also to say that I think that we are today discussing a matter of development as far as I'm concerned. And it is critical that we have young people here that are here to listen. And it's also important that the medium we are using is also a platform that, social media is a platform that young people are always there. So discussing such a very important topic in preparation for a major summit for the youth, I think that it is just right that we are using different mediums, including the social media, especially the Facebook, where a lot more young people can hook onto. Now, having said that, The agenda of TVET, like our principal said, she's the best you choose for today. And I'm very happy that I'm here with her because I'm also ready to take more in addition to what I know. And I think that she started well. Let me add up to the agenda before I go to the main question. For me, the agenda of TVET is agenda for job creation. It's agenda for self-confidence building for the young people. It's agenda for employment opportunities. It's an agenda that if as a country we want to transform, like we always use the words, that is the agenda. It's the agenda that if, because the SDGs are less than, I think we are just less than 15 years to go. We are in 2022, which means that we have like 18 years, isn't it?
2030, so 8 years.
8 years. 8 years to achieve every part of development with nobody behind.
Wow.
That is the yes. So 8 years. So for me, the agenda of TVET is the agenda to get this SDGs achieved. So it's important. What can we do? I think that like Auntie Mariama said, it's important that we are giving a new face to TVET and providing hope that TVET is not as it used to be. Very intelligent people are in TVET. And if you see, because the agenda is not agenda to place TVET at the center of development, you can see that in terms of packaging and how it is even delivered, I think it's changing. So, and it's attracting more of the young people now there because of the packaging. I was in some conference, somebody said that if we say young people should go into farming, should we always be having advert of a very old, dirty farmer? Would that make a young person interested in farming? No. So if we are talking TVET, we are talking young people, we are talking the future that we all want, then we need to repackage.
We need to repackage.
And I think that is what the government and the states that are responsible are now doing. Repackaging has been the agenda now. And I think the repackaging has taken shape such that they are now even mainstream into the core area where it really needed to have been and it is not there, which is the GES system, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where the place
TVET system.
The TVET system.
But also under the free SHS.
Under the, that's actually what I wanted to say. So it's now, parents are now respecting it. You get it, because it is in a system that if it was not important, as far as parents are concerned, probably it won't be there. As long as it has now found its space there, it means that so much importance and rebranding has been done. And that is the way it should be. And apart from that rebranding and the positioning that we have put it now we need to really look for ways and means of communicating it to the young people. Communicating it in such a way that it attracts. We need to make it attractive. We need to package it and deliver it the way the young people want to see it.
Okay. Let me come back to Mama Mariam. Like I mentioned earlier on, you have a lot of young people under you. What are really the needs of these young people? What we actually need them to do, what they need for themselves, and what they need for the future. Is TVET a major need for young people?
Thank you for the question. Yes, young people are people transitioning from childhood to adulthood, and they will need a lot of guidance. We all were guided by others, and I think it will be a good thing to have deliberate plans and policies to guide these young people, to give them that career information, guidance and counseling, to expose them to information that will let them make the right choices for their careers, for their future. Young people are also, I mean, we are expected to also provide these young ones rules and regulations of the system, so that wherever they find themselves, they are able to operate within the rules of whatever space they will find themselves. These young people have ventured into many areas. One, because of what they see other young people do. Oh, if Sister Alima has been able to do it, I could also do it. And like she mentioned, branding. I think branding is the word. If we keep it the way it was kept historically, we are not going to attract as many youth. But thankfully, a lot of investment have been made into the TVET sector, and unfortunately, people out there who do not have access to this kind of information, based on which I agree with my sister that we are not communicating all these investments, do not know the huge transformation that has taken place. A lot of modern equipment have been provided at the tertiary level and at the pre-tertiary level, world standard equipment. And if our youth should choose TVET institutions, they would be able to get the quality of training like any other fellow can get anywhere in the world. But I'm happy to say that the trend has changed. The youth are now interested. Now our problem is access. Access. If you take Northern region, for instance, we have very, very few TVET institutions at the formal level. And many young people after their BEC that want to enroll into the TVET system are not able to get space. And I think that deliberate policies should be formulated and implemented to get the system open up more access for these young ones. After all, we say TVET holds the tool to opening up the industrialization of our country, opening up jobs for our people. So if we all know the unemployment figures and the unemployed youth out there, and we thankfully know where the key is, then the solution is simple. Let's just go for the key, open it up, and get these young ones in to have their skills. And it's a huge opportunity that exists, but there is a gap. The opportunity exists on one side, then the youth are at the other side, and the gap is between. So we need our governments, our private sector, our NGOs, our parents to be able to work together to close this gap, so that our young ones can go up there to get the skills and come out, set up their own businesses to employ themselves and employ others to contribute towards our national development.
So we have established that now the acceptance coming from young people. Are parents accepting it?
Parents do.
Really?
Parents do. I am always tempted to use my school example. Of course, that's where I spend all my time. And parents, it's so pathetic to see women come in with their children and unfortunately cannot get space. In fact, that has often been my worst moments in my career.
The accommodation and classrooms.
Just to get admission, the access include all accommodation, classroom, workshops, teacher numbers, and what have you. You won't believe that as many as 11,000 young people applied to come to our Dabokwa Technical Institute. 11,000 people. That alone is telling us that
we take half.
We can't even take a tenth. That is the sad story. And these young people do the choice of subjects at the BEC level. They do it with their teachers and their parents.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back to whether parents accept it. So if parents did not, in fact, you find people coming from all over. I'm surprised to see parents from Western region. So how many technical schools have you passed there and coming here where we don't even have enough? So the acceptability is there. You need to hear people when they come into the space, and to get it accepted is very simple. Package it and deliver it in its right quality. If you say you are training somebody in fashion, let the fellow practice the fashion. Let the fellow come out and be able to exhibit the right competencies, the right skills in fashion. If you are training somebody in building construction or electricals or whatever, let the fellow come out with the right industry standard qualities or competencies, so that they can go out there in the industry to be able to take up the jobs. The industry is looking for people to employ and not getting, and the youth or our school leavers are also looking for jobs and not getting. So a deliberate measure should be made to link these two up, so that the youth get the right technical training, then they go out there to have, I mean, even within the training, we can have workplace experiential learning, so that the training now becomes a dual role between the school and the industry, such that when the learner graduates, the industry does not say, oh, your learner has this weakness, No, we did the training together, so that exactly we will train the learner who would have the right skills that the industry is seeking for. I am told at the, Western region is where the oil, they do the oil drilling. They look for people with some welding skills, and they will have to import them. It's something that can be done.
They bring people
from outside. Then we use our falling city to turn to dollar to pay them very huge amount. How beautiful it would be to have our young men and women here take jobs and take those monies to keep in our country.
I am just really amazed by this because I see sometimes too, I believe there might be few people in Ghana, but they are not known. There can be a boy or girl somewhere in one corner in Ghana, but how does he or she get to that Western region to be recognized that I can do this? So 2 days ago, my kid sister called me. She's 13 years. She turned 13 in July. And she's been saying this and she wants to learn how. So she called me and she was like, I should help convince my mom because she wants to learn how to sew. And I got so excited. Like, I was so excited. And my mom was like, and how will she be with the school? And you know what? 7 years ago, I would have thought like my mom, probably. Thought like my family, probably. But now I know better. So I was like, she's not in a hurry. A family member of us knows how to sew, even sews wedding girls. Let's just let her go. Weekends, after school, just let her. She's not in a hurry. If in the next 7 years she's 20 years, I can have the money to want to let her to go and do more top-up. After senior high school, she can, while waiting for her results, like she can go and do this top-up. So parents can also, I like what you mentioned about aligning with the industry and other things. You even finish the formal school, you come, there's no job. So if there is a way where a girl or a boy can learn some of these things part-time, I think parents should allow them.
Why part-time?
Full-time.
No, I'm saying part-time because some people, 1 or 2 people may not be still able to understand why their children should leave school completely.
Parents should leave their children alone to do their career choices.
Okay.
Your child is not coming to fulfill your unfulfilled dream.
Wow, that's a nice one there.
I wanted to become a doctor and I
Yes.
could not achieve that. So my child must necessarily become a doctor when that child cannot stand blood. Please tell me who in this room is not a beneficiary of TVET.
And we're wearing it.
Your veil,
My makeup,
your makeup,
My
your
earrings.
dress, the seat you are on, your footwear, the electricals, the technicians
Cameras,
that are. Tell me the pull-ups. Tell me who is not benefiting or making use of TVET. So our mommy should allow our young sister who has chosen her interest, who is passionate about sewing,
She's
she
gonna
should
do
be
it.
supported to do it and do it to the maximum. She should be supported to produce things for export.
Yeah.
She should be supported to produce people. I know people who have left their banking jobs to pursue sewing. I know people who have left their banking jobs to pursue catering services. I know people who have left their formal jobs to pursue baking and other things. So our sister or daughter has discovered her passion.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I am happy that somebody within the family is already into the trade. Try it. Let's experiment it. She has she'll go for the formal setting training and come home to have the industry experience.
She will.
She would be a wonderful designer.
She will.
I have been advocating for last year when we had these 11,000 numbers that we couldn't manage. A wild idea came because these young ones have not committed any crime. They just want to have further education in TVET, and people should be allowed. None of us built a school to attend.
No.
And we say in our 1992 constitution that education is a fundamental human right. So why are we not making it available to these young ones? And I was thinking about us perhaps trying something, the dual mode of training. So that we take a number that, assuming we could handle just 1,000, then let's take 2,000. Identify some industries that we would work with. Then ensure that their setup is according to standard. Then half of these learners will be in the school for one semester. Then the other half will be in the industry. Of course, then we can be collaborating to monitor what is happening on the ground there. Then after a semester, we'll swap.
Wow.
The half that was in the school now go to the industry, and the half that was in the industry now come to the school.
That is an amazing.
Can you imagine how, the level of competence our graduates would have been after 3 years? But it's a public space. You need a lot of approvals to be able to do that. But I think that it's worth pursuing.
It is. And it will take away this thing of 5 years experience, 10 years experience, 20 years experience on that. Let's go for a break. And the Youth Empowerment Summit, hey, I have to do this before my sponsor. So we have our main sponsor to be MTN Ghana, UNICEF supporting our media partners, Wind and Fire Media. And guess what? We'll be live on Truth TV. Thank you so much, Truth TV, for this partnership. At least it goes beyond Tamale, it goes beyond, and they are in over 25 countries. Wow. So imagine how many people are going to see what is going to happen in Tamale on 20th of August. And then the National Youth Authority, thank you so much for supporting. Right Go, Nat, Twillium will be giving us some refreshments as well. Glow Events is giving us over 1,000 chairs for our participants who will be coming. Thank you very much, Glow Events. And the OL Pure, OL Pure, Nana, thank you so much for supporting us. And also Inshira Travel and Tour and Moontash Travel and Tour for supporting us with some great discounts for flights for our guests who will be coming from Accra. Events Happen GH will be helping us with the coordination, and of course, Sweda Ghana always supporting us all the time. And yeah, it's an amazing event, and everyone is invited. It's a free event. Just make sure you eat before you come. It's a free event. Walk in, come in at any time from 8 a.m. and the event will start. If you can't join us live, watch us on Martha Inspires Foundation on Facebook or live on Truth TV from 9:30 a.m. on the 20th. Let's take a breather. I'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Praise Summit here for the Martha Inspires Foundation's Youth Empowerment Summit. We are just giving you what to expect on the day. Our speakers are really delving into the topic, and then but I want to have a poetry from a young, amazing woman. I was someone was minding my business. She said she wanted to do a poem, and this time we are giving young people the opportunity to explore in the Bopa. They explore at Sweda Ghana. They explore at Martha Inspires. We explore. So if a young person reaches out to any of us that I think I can do this, we don't discourage them. So let's see. And then if you want to invite her for an event to do a poetry, of course it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. So Rahina too. So that's your camera. Take us away.
Thank you very much. This poem is titled Country, and it goes like this. A country is made up of people who share the same cultural system, beliefs, customs, and traditions. A country is a fertile soil suitable for the growth and development of nature. A country is a cycle of parents and children, children who will grow, protect, and defend their identity, race, and eternity. A blessed country is one with 6.9 million young people, my Ghana. A country like mine should shine and blossom possibilities with this divine gift. As young people living in this country, we can't remember writing applications wanting to be born. If so, we would have written to parents who just listen in a country so ideal. Parents who give hugs and smiles like morning prayers, like alarm clocks. A country that embraces our being and appreciates our indifferences. One that would recognize our growth like seeds. It would nourish our roots and protect us from distraction. For a country is born out of parents, and parents are supposed to give a hand up and project their offsprings to the galaxy so that they too can fly high and touch the moon. We would have not bothered writing applications wanting to breathe this carbon dioxide that does not kill. This oxygen is nothing but a mockery we are gathering for the cemetery. God blessed our homeland Ghana so our parents can make us feeble and weak, so they could be bold and strong to defend their greed with a promise on their honor to see themselves great. In this country, parents remain 16 even as they fade out, shape-shifting into our bodies without shame. In this country, we are only useful for thumbprinting on ballots. In this country, we are only useful for thumbprinting on ballots, and parents wonder why we complain. We complain because we are still breathing. We complain because we have become the future they don't want to see, but still talk about. We have become bait. Do you listen to the hustles and bustles we wake up to every day? Do we pay attention to the conversations in buses and marketplaces? Can you feel the tempo? The music we sing with melodies that can even burst out of our lungs and beats we can't dance to. All we are asking for is a chance to feel we belong, a platform to thrive. Is that too much to ask? For it is only human to feel relevant, since we live in a country where patriotic citizens die by our own hands. Thank you.
Wow. It's an amazing poetry. We're looking at a country and we're talking about TVET. What is our country doing? As parents, what are we doing? As young people, what are we doing? If you are given the position, like I am here, if I'm made a gender minister, you know the thing. What are you going to use that position to do as a young woman? What is that contribution you're going to contribute to Mother Ghana? Thank you so much for that powerful reminder to all of us that we have a role to play to make our country great and strong. Let me come back to our guest here. Mommy Hashia, let me come back to you. Okay, so before that, TVET is technical, vocational education and training. That is the full meaning of TVET. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's like over the years, we have concentrated on just that one, the office kind of thing. But this year, we want to concentrate on TVET. But we are asking, how do we connect these two so that we can develop as a country? Mommy, how can we connect these two? No, Ajia.
You know, life is a balancing game, so there's always a way to balance because they don't live in isolation.
Yeah.
You know, you need the science part. Even the TVET has a science part because there's calculation, there's mathematics, measurement, and all those things. So they are already connected. It's just a matter of where we are putting the emphasis. But before I still really come there, I just want to answer them. You know, you ask a question, what really do the young people need? I have a strong interest there. The young people that we are looking at now. You know, last week I was in a radio station and I was discussing transformation of agriculture with emphasis on women and youth. Then you pick the statistics of the just recently released statistics by the Statistical Service. And they give you figures that tells you that this country has hope, there's future. Because the age bracket of the young people is so huge in terms of numbers that it already tells us that we have future. So if we have future, we therefore need to emphasize on what those young people will need for the future we are all looking for. And one of the critical needs of the young person is quality education. And I think Madam has talked about that one. That's why the emphasis is on the TVET and the STEM. The young person will also need, already these young people need confidence for themselves. They need enjoyment. They already want to enjoy. I think that's one thing about young people. See them looking happy.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. You need it. And you need it and you should own it. Yeah. But there's a way you have to earn it. You just cannot just think that you should be enjoying without doing anything yourself for it. These young people need employment. For the peace that we are looking for, we need to make sure that we are recognizing these both practical needs of the young person, which is very comfortable homes for them to stay. It's a need that it's a practical need. You cannot negotiate shelter, can you? No, it's a need and we must fulfill it, especially as parents. And even if the young person also reaches a stage, the young person needs shelter for himself or herself. So that means that that young person needs to do things that will let him or her have that shelter. That young person also, because they want to enjoy themselves, that also means that the young person must be responsible for that enjoyment choices. And that means that they must choose well. Young people need the kind of friends and motivation and the enabling environment to make them make very informed decisions for themselves. If not, they will be misled by themselves.
Yeah.
They will mislead each other. And then we are in a kind of web that we don't know where we are going. They don't know where they are going. We also don't know where we are going. There's a whole lot of confusion. Young people need these practical needs. We need to make sure that they get it. And they also need the strategic needs that we must provide for them. And that is where education and training comes in. And it becomes very important. Because if we don't do it well, then they can't balance life. And when life is not balanced, the moment you weigh one above the other, there is a problem. We must work to balance it. So in terms of getting STEM, which is the science or technology,
engineering and mathematics,
and also getting the TVET, work together means that you'll be providing both the practical needs of the young person as well as providing the strategic needs of the young person. So that the people put it together, then we are having a holistic young person who make decisions that are very informed and very responsible, because they make decisions that are transformative for themselves and the environment they find themselves. Because if you are not able to get that right, where you are building young people to be responsible for decisions they make, because you also as a government, you also as a parent, you also as a bigger society has put together and provided that very important practical need for that person, as well as government which take responsibility for strategic provision. It does that.
Yeah.
If not, we will not have a situation where young people are not balancing life. And the moment they are mixing the issue of balancing, then we are in a very big mess, where young people will be making decisions that are not responsible enough for themselves, for their society, and for the country that they live in, because there is no hope for them.
Let me come back to
Before you come in, I want to add to what my sister has said.
to you, Craig.
Young people also need to have an opportunity to be mentored.
Yeah.
Yes, every young fellow should be given that opportunity to be mentored and coached, so that they can go through whatever training to be able to be like their mentors, or even better than their mentors. There is also the need to encourage young people. Let's not only be critical on their mistakes, on only their mistakes. Whatever good they do, let's applaud them, let's encourage them, let's write about achievements of these young people, so that it serves as a booster to their colleagues. Yes, my friend has been able to invent this. It's giving the needed publicity and what have you. That would whip up a healthy competition among them, for everyone to begin to want to think creativity, innovation, and what have you.
That's important. But my stronger point that I wanted to floor, last point, was the fact that young people need protection.
They are not protected enough.
The young people we have, we are not protecting them enough. Either as parents, we are not doing that. As the bigger society, we are not doing that. And as a state. I'm saying this in respect to the kind of violence that goes on among young people, and nobody seems to be talking about it. If you take sexual-based violence, the amount of young people who go through that thing in a day, you marvel.
I think
and there is no space for them to talk about it.
Exactly. Discrimination.
Yesterday, I happened to talk to two people after my workshop. Two young girls, women. I call them young women because each of them had children. They are just about 25 years. And they told, you see young people walking until they open their mouth to tell you what they go through. You just think that this is a normal young person moving. The person is moving with a package of issues, baggage. We are not protecting them. And sometimes these young girls told me the kind of push they got, not even from their friends, but people that should have been protecting them. Not ready to listen to them, but all they are interested is in that the man has put up a house, go, just agree and marry the man. Meanwhile, this is a person that has run out of that same relationship because of beatings, because of insult. Do you get it? But nobody was listening. It's just ready to listen to. These are people from different regions. So one of them was from Upper East. Then the other one is another region girl. They just say, oh, they like the way I relate, so they just, and so we're just talking, they just open up. I was surprised the kind of pain those two girls are going through under different locations. Wow. Nobody is protecting anybody. Boys go through the same thing. Nobody is talking about it. Girls are going through those things. Nobody is talking. Girls, whether married or unmarried, in a day what they go through, nobody is protecting them. This issue of protection of our young people, we need to go into it. We need to go into it, and we should not be pretending that all is well. All is not well. Violence is increasing every day, everywhere.
Violence is increasing every day, everywhere. I think that as part of this, one of the issues we're looking at the summit, I'm glad you mentioned that. When I was talking to some partners about STEM and TV, they were like, oh, it's not in our area, it's on. And I told them that reproductive health education, gender-based violence education is a main component in TVET education. Because I think, Madam Woman, we did some mentorships and like around. And one of the challenges were that some of the apprentices will come to learn, and within a year or two, even a year, within some few months, they are pregnant. And they have to stop the work to go and put to bed, go through maternity leave for about 4 or 5 months. By the time they come back, how are they learning? So I think that, I really took my time to explain to them, and I was like, well, I'm not forcing you to support, but if you are looking at that, this is even where you have, because this is where you get a lot of out-of-school girls who are naive, who don't know what to do. And I think even just this week, there was a headline about 4 guys raping a student in tech.
Yes.
And when a level 100 student, this is a girl with so much hope, so much passion, it's my first year in school, I'm going to get all the A's in my class, and she is raped. So I think that for every event that I get the opportunity to organize, I make sure that there is a component on reproductive health and gender-based violence.
And that's the role TVET plays, because a lot of the girls, like if you talk the informal sector girls, their pregnancy sometimes is just because of meeting need. Just to meet a need of feeding whilst at the apprentice, whilst at the training. So they get boys. You know, we had a workshop for parents, right? This apprentice.
Yeah.
By this Sumba Foundation.
Yeah,
Rhoda's center. She organized her parents because she had a real issue at hand that she needed to solve. And then I went into that thing. And the parents, then we realized that a lot of the people that girls call parents, they are not their parents. They are like cohabitation. People they cohabitate with.
Wow.
They are their caretakers.
So the challenges of TVET,
it's a serious matter.
Before we come in, I think that we need to have a frank talk with our today's youth.
Yes.
We need to, talk to each other to appreciate the fact that Rome was not built in a day. Rights come with responsibilities. And people must be responsible and patient. You would see students in my school who are not supposed to possess phones in the first place. Holding phones I cannot buy.
Who bought it for them?
Who bought it for you?
Let's
have a frank talk so that people will manage their craving. People will manage their differentiate between their needs and wants. People will manage their lives and know that life is in phases. Today you are a young person, perhaps in school. Tomorrow you will finish school and you'll be in the world of work, and you would have had resources available to you that you can do whatever you want. But if you see that man already driving in that car and you think that you are not worried that that man is already settled and has his wife and children, and that man that is old enough to be your father, you follow to destroy you because you want to have things that ordinarily you don't work and you shouldn't have. Those ones, when they begin to use you for rituals and use you for other things, and I had a terrible feeling when I heard the news about the tech girl. This is somebody who have left senior high and qualified to be in the university. And I expect that she should be sound in her reasoning. And why do you follow a boy alone to an obscure place without company?
At the wrong time.
So some of the things, yes, we are already vulnerable by our nature. But if we get responsible, analytical, and critical in our ways of doing things, I think we will not fall prey to. Yes, if there's opportunity, we can teach them strategies about how they can manage in times of danger, what they can do in times of danger, and danger signs. Do not follow an adult man into an obscure place alone.
At that point,
At that point,
you can't trust anyone at that point.
The fellow is not your brother, the fellow is not your
Yes.
father,
If
and you are
your brothers
following
and
the
fathers
fellow,
are
This time the brothers is
to an
serious.
obscure fellow, then you go to the room alone with the fellow locks the room, and you couldn't shout, you couldn't hit anything, you couldn't do anything. You allow the fellow locks and leaves the room, and you are quiet. You couldn't bang the door because my understanding was that was a hostel. If you bang the door
There will be
and make
neighbors at
unusual
least.
noise, people will come and force open the door. You allow them to go and bring a second fellow. So our young people should know that life is
I
not
didn't read the details, but
life is not easy.
It's not easy.
Life is not easy. There was even one example in Tamale last weekend. A young lady in the company of a yellow driver and others that absconded said she was a prostitute. She came to Tamale not too long ago, and she was in the company of boys that attempted slaughtering a yellow driver.
Yeah, it was
You can't expose yourself to such violent scenes, and when you become a victim of that violence, you want to complain. So please, responsibilities come with rights.
wow.
Our rights come with responsibility. But yes, the protection Madam spoke about will not come by itself. It's a shared responsibility. You have your role as a young person. Your teachers have a role. Your parents have a role. The community has a role. And you will have to be moving in twos, in threes.
Yeah.
And take note of signs of danger and reports.
That's true.
I'm just getting some goosebumps around me. Like, it's like we still have a long way to go.
Yes.
But you see, there's evidence of what she's saying, that you see, if you're a young person, you need to be also responsible
For
with,
yourself.
and understand the environment you find yourself. You know, last week, Friday, I was in UDS as a judge for a pitch. You know, that's now, you know, the TVET is so important today. Now, even the universities are picking it to a level of branding it and making the young people pitch ideas. And this is a program they are giving them seed money of 20,000 to start in business. Now the girl that won, that day, I remember when she did a presentation, I asked her a question about the way her budgeting was. But at the end of the day, her idea was good, so she won. Now when I finished, I was talking to one of the lecturers. The lecturer said, this girl, she's troublesome because we asked them to come and we teach her, but anyway, this girl, she doesn't even have a computer. And she's just managing in the school. She's managing, but she's very hopeful that she will make it on her own.
Yeah.
Please, did you get the lesson I'm trying to share? That this girl doesn't have a computer. She's one of the girls in the school. She doesn't have a computer. But this is a girl that won that
That
pitch.
one.
Because she committed that she's going to make it with what she has. That girl, one of my girls, my daughter, she doesn't have a phone. This girl uses this thing. And among all my children, she's the only one that doesn't have a phone. But she's also the one that says she's not going to this thing. She uses the YAM phone.
The small one.
I'm wondering how she did. So the last I never decided I'll buy her a phone. Because she never was putting a pressure on me for phone. But she didn't have a phone. And she was not ready to go begging for phone from anybody. She was very content because she knew that I can buy a phone. But she decided that she was going to just manage what she has and make it on her own. She came to tell me that she wants to be making pastry and selling. We are saying that as we are trying to protect you, protect yourself first. Take your destiny into your hands. Know that the enjoyment is you who is looking for enjoyment. So you should earn money to enjoy. You get it? If you see a man enjoying today, it's not because the man did not put in so much to reach where he has reached. Nobody just got to where they are today because they flew to that place. We worked at it. Until I tell you my story, you will not know my story. You get it? Learn to tell your own story. As how you started, what you did, what you have to lose. You just have to always lose something to get something. But if you think that your choice is never, I'm not losing anything, but I should always get something. You can't make it like that. People will always use, at the end of the day, they will dump you. And you, but by then,
God forbid.
oh yes. God, so you should always get and say, God forbid for yourself. And it's not, we are just saying this because it's doable. A lot of girls in the university, they don't have phones, but they are passing exams. And they are not cohabitating with anybody. They are looking at their environment and making choices. The first 3 girls who won are girls that are just, they don't, according to they are just those normal girls in the school. They are not in competition with anybody except themselves. Compete to be better. But they think that the other way is to add the TVET skills they have to live on the campus. Some of them are making sobolo and selling to their colleagues in the school there. You get it? Some are doing cakes, selling to their colleagues in the school there, just to survive. Because if you are the person in your home who is supposed to break your house poverty, know it very early and work at it.
I think,
and they say
okay.
But they tell us.
One last thing I want to also bring up is the youth should be taught to see opportunities wherever they find themselves. Around, when did the first years come? March, April this year. I assembled my departments and asked them, look at our school prospectus. Look at the items. Which ones can your own learners produce and catch the market? So that they don't have to go down south to Kumasi and Accra and buy them and bring them here to sell in Tamale. The carpentry students took to the making of shop boxes. The fashion students took to the making of check dress. You know, because of the free SHS, government will provide uniforms for the learner. But on arrival, you have to appear in the school check. Not just our school check, they looked at other neighboring school check dresses. And the fashion students were able to make that. Easy where we train them in grooming.
I think when we're going for the donations, your school made us dresses clothes for us to.
We train them in grooming and we check them from wearing slippers around. So the fashion department took up the making of easy wear sandals in addition. There are many opportunities in our communities. Catering took up the making of shito. They are not new ideas. They are ideas that we know already. And I know every youth lives in a community, and in that community there are schools and other community members that could be patronizing some of your products. So let's train our youth to be able to see opportunities.
Let's train our youth to be able to see opportunities. This conversation is getting interesting. I have a whole crew here who are going to tell us the benefits of TVET to them and what they have seen from the young people's perspective, what they think that we should do and how we can all go about it. This is the first chapter of the press summit. We'll come back to you in a jiffy with a second chapter. If you are following us on Facebook, we are coming back live again for the second chapter. If you're watching us on TV, this is the first chapter. The second chapter will come on, I don't know, on, so we are hoping to air this on Thursday and Saturday. You get the second chapter as well on TV before the main event on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. on Truth TV. This episode would air. So you have to, 9:30 a.m. It will be live from the grounds. You know what? Let me take us through our speakers for the main event. The chairperson is a regional director for the National Youth Authority, Mr. Mumuni Suleimana, and Madam Georgina Asarufiegbenu. She is the senior manager, corporate communications, MTN Ghana. And then Madam Felicia Edem Atipo, she's the first female aircraft marshal in Ghana. If you follow me on Facebook, I've shared her video and she's in front of the airplane and she's showing the airplane how to land and all of that. And we have media personality Bella Mundi. She'll be coming to share with us a lot of thoughts for maybe those who want to go into the media. And the big man himself, Mr. Joe Jackson, he's the director of business operations, JLX Finance. It's a packed event. If you don't come early, you will stand outside. So, and of course, it's hosted by the Martha Inspires Foundation. I'm leading this agenda with my whole team, the production team, the administrative team. Hey, we're a big team, Keke. We're back with part 2. Stay tuned.